Hello YouTube, Ken Apocalypse here, and today I'm going to talk to you about a couple different variations of HDR. Now, a lot of people's confused with HDR. There is the 4K, which is, it kind of coincides, but it's kind of separate. 4K is 4K. 4K is the best resolution you can get right now unless you're at a high-end PC or you got a lot of money to spend, because they will be coming out with 8K TVs and monitors and everything. But I mean, that ain't till a later date. It's hard to tell how long it's off, probably next week. Anyway, I want to talk to you about variations of HDR. Now there's HDR10, which is the standard variant right now, and then there's Dolby Vision, which is the new and up and coming. Dolby Vision actually isn't new, it's just HDR10 is in a lot of the TVs right now because it was cheaper. Actually, it was free to the manufacturers to install it in their TVs. Dolby Vision, of course, Dolby, you have to buy the rights to Dolby, but you know, it is a better version of HDR. Now, the reason I'm saying this is CES 2017, the Consumer Electronics Show 2017 just wrapped up, and Panasonic, LG, Vizio, some Samsung, and Sony are all making Dolby Vision TVs. Now, right now, the only thing you can buy, really, unless you get a LG TV, or I think it's LG and Vizio right now, is the only two that carry a version of Dolby Vision. But HDR10 is pretty much the standard right now. Well, it looks like that's about to change because apparently the rights to Dolby Vision, Dolby has, lowered the cost of the patent so people can install it in their TV so they can get their product out there, which is all well and good, but then you have to buy a Dolby Vision capable 4K player or like Netflix and stuff like that has to switch over to HDR Dolby Vision, which I think that is just a firmware update. Don't quote me on that. I'm not sure right now, but I'm going to post an article in the description below that you can read for yourself. It also talks about Sony. They're coming out with an OLED TV. I mean, well, it's Sony, so they cannot be outdone. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but if you're like me, I'm a movie buff, okay? I mean, this is Batman versus Superman. It is HDR, and to let you know it's HDR, it actually says it right here. It says HDR, high dynamic range. And it just lets you know that, it's for brighter, more vibrant color. Now, here's the difference between HDR10 and Dolby Vision. HDR10, the standard right now, and which I have my Xbox on, and it's HDR10 compatible 4K. The issue with it is that when you put a HDR movie in and it reads HDR10, by the way, I want to say this real quick. If it's Dolby Vision HDR or it's regular HDR10, okay, the movies will still work, okay? The HDR is just the encoding. The Dolby Vision or the HDR10 is how it processes the HDR. That's how it processes the encoding. So don't think that if you buy 4K movies now that later on you're going to have to go buy more 4K movies, because the same movies will work on either one. Now, the difference between HDR10 and Dolby Vision is HDR10 is it's more simple. It actually analyzes the entire movie at the beginning of the movie, and that's pretty much it. Throughout the whole movie, you get the same contrast ratio, picture quality, and everything at the beginning as you're going to see throughout the whole movie. Okay, that is a downfall to me, because I've noticed, especially on my Xbox, that I put a movie in and it kind of puts like a haze or tint over it. When you start watching something, it makes the picture a little darker or more dull. It doesn't look quite 4K, but I mean, there are points and times in the movie that it does. It just depends on how the player itself recognizes the disc. I mean, if it's going to look good at the beginning, the whole movie's going to look good. If it looks dull and washed out at the beginning, the whole movie's going to be like it. It does not change. And that's the downfall of HDR10. Now, Dolby Vision, Dolby went the extra step further. It can actually analyze frame by frame or frames per second and adjust itself throughout the whole movie. It will constantly adjust so you get the best picture. This to me is awesome because I'm a tech buff. I'm a movie buff. I love, I love to watch a good movie, and I especially like to watch a good, crisp, clean, clear movie. And if you haven't experienced 4K yet, you're missing out. But if I would have my choice right now, right now I have an HDR10 Samsung 65 inch. It's HDR10. Okay. Not sure if the Dolby Vision is going to actually be like a firmware upgrade later. It was mentioned that it may be a firmware upgrade, but we're not absolutely certain yet. There's some people say that it's a whole different board and whole different chipset that goes into the TV. Let's hope not, because all these people that went out and bought HDR TVs like I did, we'll pretty much be up the river. So hopefully they can iron something out to where we can use Dolby Vision with HDR TVs. And God love you if you was able to get like a LG OLED TV, because those are Dolby Vision anyway, and those pictures are sharp. But anyway, this is Ken Apocalypse. This is the end of the video. Hit like, subscribe, share my channel, and I will see you next time.